What's going on, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, it's been a minute. I've actually was in the process of moving. That's why I haven't had any videos out. But today I'm coming at you with a new tying video. It's going to be a little out of the normal. So I'm going to teach you how to tie a parachute on a fly. Specifically, what I'm tying is a Sulphur parachute. I'm getting ready to go up to Tennessee. You know, the Soho's up there and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. Like, comment, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Anyways, what I have in the vise here, guys, for the Sulphur pattern we're going to be tying is it's an Orvis hook. It's a size 12. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'm going to be using as thread is a uni thread, an 8/0. It's a light Cahill. And I like to start my actual thread where I want my post to be. So that's where I want my post to kind of be at. And I'm just going to hold my tag in at like a 45-degree angle so I can get that nice under body right there. And we want to stop about around the barb. There's that. And what I have here, what I'm going to use as the telling material is it's a woodchuck hair. So I have really cool friends, just saying. So I'm just going to even the tips out really and cut off about 8 to 10 strands. That should be good enough. Measure it out about a hook shank and length. And just shoulder, that's about right. And what I like to do to get the tail to flare is come up under it. Just like that, pull back. And then now we're just gonna wrap forward to make a nice uniform body. Which it won't matter, we're going to be covering that up with some dubbing. And I just want to come to where I really want to start my post. So we're back there, cut off tag, and I'm just going to use some of this Antron. It's high vis orange, so that way you won't have trouble seeing it. And this is how I like to do my parachute post, and it's the easiest way that I found. I know there's a couple other ways you can do it, but I like to half it. If I can do it, I like to half my materials, bring it to the hook shank. That's 1 wrap, 2 wraps, and then what I do from there is I do like a figure 8. Kind of cinch that and make sure it's on top, and I'll fold the material forward, wrap down, get a couple wraps in there, fold it back, and I'm going to create a thread dam. And what this should do is that you can see here, it'll stand that up and help with forming the parachute post. So now that I have that standing up like that, this is where it gets kind of tricky, but this is how I do it. You just want to start at the base and very precisely and carefully work your way up the post. It's really weird because you don't want to pull too hard, but you don't want to make it a really soft. But the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And as you can see, I'm getting that nice post base. And that should be good enough for what we're doing. And I'm just going to clean up the back right here. And I'm going to make some spiraling wraps towards the back to start our dubbing. And the dubbing I'm going to be using, you can use any type of fine dubbing. that's going to imitate like the yellow body of the Sulphur. I'm just going to use some of this HHP. It's kind of super secret stuff, super secret squirrel. Good friend Ed Haynes does a damn fine job of making it. And just like with any dry fly dubbing, we're going to dub the thread very lightly. We don't want a thick body on this dry fly. We want to make a taper, and we want to make sure it looks like a bug's body, because if you ever look at a bug's body, they have that taper going from their hind end to their thorax. And if you can see that, I do not have a lot of dubbing there. Less is more in this case. Long fiber in there. And we're going to come behind the post, and we want to come under the post too, but we could technically do that in a later step, but I'm just going to go ahead and cover up that post because it's how I just do all my dry flies. Not really covering up the post, just kind of creating the thorax area. All right, so here comes the next step, which is to get your feathers. This is a whiting, braided bronze. So what you want to do when you're picking out your feather is you kind of want to gauge it to the gap of your hook that you're tying on. So I have a size 12, and technically I want this hackle, the fibers, to be about the gap width. And that's what this one is. And what you want to do is actually create somewhat of a long stem, cut up parallel on the stem. Might be actually too long. And there's a concave and a convex side of a feather. You want the concave side, so the side that's cupped, to be facing towards you when you tie this feather in and onto the post. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to tie up the post, because that's how we want to get the feather to lay out. Come back down. Snip off the tag in right there. We're going to go ahead and dub up our thorax some more. This should be enough. Getting that nice figure 8 pattern going in, so we have a nice buggy pattern, buggy taper going in. And just finishing up here at the head. And now comes the important part. So depending on if you've tied it in right, you want your feather, when you're wrapping this, to point like the convex side to point down, so the feathers will be kind of going at an angle like this instead of upwards. So the way that I have mine tied in, it looks like I'm gonna actually have to thread it around the right side. So I'm just gonna go down the stem of that shoot. And I like making it really thick and buggy. And now we're gonna catch that feather at the eye of the hook. One more securing wrap. And clip off your tag in. Now we're just going to clean up the eye and trim off any of those fibers that aren't supposed to be in there. So like the ones that came in with tying it down. Half hitch it or whip finish. I like whip finishing this. It's just me. Whip finish that. And that's a parachute. How you build a parachute and build a sulphur pattern. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Go catch some fish on this pattern. I'll leave a link to my social media so you can tag me in pics and show me that. Peace out. Have a good one. Keep fishing.